Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja, coming up in the next 30 minutes. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer tries to revive hope for Ukraine at the key London summit, lends £2.26 billion for Ukraine's defence. Israel blocks aid into Gaza as ceasefire standoff escalates. Hamas wants Israel to move to the second phase of the ceasefire. In a first, US firm Firefly makes its first moon landing with uncrewed Blue Ghost spacecraft. And in cricket, New Zealand regains control against India in the final group match of the ICC Champions Trophy in Dubai. Shreyas Iyer misses century, falls for 79 against the Kiwis. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is hosting European leaders, including Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, at a summit in London to drive forward action on Ukraine. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer welcomed his Italian counterpart Giorgia Meloni at Downing Street on Sunday for a meeting held ahead of the summit on the Ukraine conflict. The summit is aimed at shoring up support for securing a just and enduring peace deal in Ukraine. This meeting comes 2 days after the Ukrainian president clashed with US President Donald Trump in Washington, D.C. Earlier, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky received a warm welcome at the 10 Downing Street on Saturday, a stark contrast to his tense meeting with US President Donald Trump at the White House the previous day. Zelensky was greeted with hugs and handshakes by UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, and he expressed gratitude to the British people for their support.
Very, very welcome here in Downing Street. As you heard from the cheers on the street outside, you have full backing across the United Kingdom. And we stand with you, with Ukraine, for as long as it may take. And I hope you've heard some of that cheering in the street. That is the people of the United Kingdom coming out to demonstrate how much they support you, how much they support Ukraine, and our absolute determination to stand with you, unwavering determination, and to achieve what we both want to achieve, which is a lasting peace for Ukraine based on sovereignty and security for Ukraine.
During his visit, Zelensky also witnessed the signing of a £2.26 billion loan agreement between the UK and Ukraine. The loan, facilitated by British Finance Minister Rachel Reeves, will be repaid using profits from frozen Russian assets.
Well, thank you very much. And that's our side of it. And in the next few days, the disbursements of money, we should be able to make those to Ukraine. I know that they are needed as quickly as possible. Thank you so much, Minister, for being able to join us today.
Polish President Andrzej Duda said on Saturday that he sees no other power in the world than the United States that could stop Russian attack on Ukraine, and that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky should get back to negotiations with Washington.
Zelensky should return to the negotiating table with the US. He should sit down calmly at the table and negotiate a solution which will make Ukraine safe. And we, who are Ukraine's ally and have been supporting Ukraine since its start, we will support him in achieving a secure and lasting peace, because we are also very much relying on this peace. This is in Poland's interest, that Ukraine is at peace, that the war ends, and that it ends in such a way that Russia cannot attack anyone else. This is what is most important to us today. That requires, in my personal opinion, a return to the negotiating table.
NATO chief Mark Rutte has said that he told Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky that he needed to find a way to restore his relationship with the US President Donald Trump.
Nou ja, ik vond dat uiterst ongelukkig.
What Trump is trying to do is to get peace in Ukraine. What he has done is make that opening towards Russia. I think that was a good step. That had to happen sometime too. Now we have to make sure we work very well together. We will be in London tomorrow. Dutch Prime Minister will be there. Other European leaders will be there to talk. So what can Europe do when a deal comes in to actually make sure that deal is permanent, so that Russia does not try it again? Europe can do that, and you see really America taking leadership here.
Russia has praised US President Donald Trump's pragmatic aim to end the war in Ukraine, but scolded Europe for seeking to continue the conflict. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov on Sunday said that the United States still wanted to be the world's most powerful country and that Washington and Moscow would never see eye to eye on everything, but that they had agreed to be pragmatic when interests coincided.
Trump, он прагматик. Вот это его лозунг здравый.
Trump, he is a pragmatist. His slogan is common sense, of course means, and everybody already see it, a shift to a different way of doing things, but the goal is still MAGA, make America great again. He has got a new cap now. Everything that Trump promised, he did. You see, this gives politics a lively human character. That is why it is interesting to work with him.
Дает такой.
On to West Asia now. Israel blocked the entry of aid trucks into Gaza on Sunday as a standoff over the truce that has halted fighting for the past 6 weeks escalated, with Hamas calling on Egyptian and Qatari mediators to intervene. Trucks lined up in front of Egypt's Rafah border crossing on Sunday after Israel blocked the entry of aid into Gaza. Truck drivers carrying food supplies said that they were not allowed to cross the border and were not given any reasons. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office said earlier that it had adopted a proposal by US President Donald Trump's envoy Steve Witkoff for a temporary ceasefire in Gaza for the Ramadan and Passover periods, hours after the first phase of the previously agreed ceasefire expired. This comes as a standoff over the truce that has halted fighting for the past 6 weeks escalated, with Hamas calling on Egyptian and Qatari mediators to intervene. If agreed, the truce would halt fighting until the end of Ramadan fasting period around March 31st and the Jewish Passover holiday around April 20th. The truce would be conditional on Hamas releasing half of the living and dead hostages on the first day, with the remainder released at the conclusion if an agreement is reached on a permanent ceasefire. Israel has agreed to a US-backed proposal to extend the truce in Gaza, covering the Muslim holy month of Ramadan and the Jewish Passover holiday in April. This temporary ceasefire aims to maintain calm during these significant religious periods. According to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office, the extension was proposed by US President Donald Trump's Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff. The initial phase of the ceasefire, which took effect on January 19th, expired on Saturday. A second phase was intended to secure the release of dozens of hostages held in Gaza and pave the way for lasting peace. The extension provides a critical window for renewed negotiations, but the long-term prospects for a permanent ceasefire remain uncertain. Meanwhile, a large gathering of demonstrators in Israel's Tel Aviv expressed urgency for the immediate release of 59 hostages still held in Gaza. The first phase of the ceasefire has come to an end, amplifying concerns for the captives' safety. Families and supporters held photos and flags, underscoring the emotional toll of the ongoing hostage crisis. The crowd emphasized the need for swift action to secure the hostages' freedom. As the situation remains unresolved, the gathering served as a poignant reminder of the human cost of the conflict. With time running out, the focus remains on negotiating the safe release of the remaining hostages. Meanwhile, US Secretary of State Marco Rubio has expedited the delivery of $4 billion in military aid to Israel, citing the country's fragile ceasefire with Hamas. The Trump administration has approved nearly $12 billion in military sales to Israel, underscoring its commitment to the country's security. The Pentagon has also approved a potential $3 billion arms sale, notifying the Congress on an emergency basis. This marks the second time in recent weeks the administration has used emergency authority to approve arms sales to Israel. The move comes amid a fragile ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, which has halted 15 months of fighting and paved the way for talks on ending the crisis. Iran's parliament sacked the country's finance minister after initiating impeachment proceedings over his handling of high inflation and a plummeting currency. Economy and Finance Minister A. Hemati lost a vote of confidence with 182 of 273 parliamentarians present backing his removal. Lawmakers took turns angrily censuring Hemati, blaming him for Iran's economic woes. Firefly Aerospace became the second US company to land on the moon on Sunday with its debut Blue Ghost lander, kicking off a 2-week research mission as one of a handful of private firms to reach the front lines of a global moon race. The size of a compact car, the 4-legged Blue Ghost carried 10 scientific payloads as it touched down near an ancient volcanic vent on Mare Crisium, a large basin in the northeast corner of the moon's Earth-facing side. The flight controllers at Firefly's Austin, Texas headquarters watched as Blue Ghost descended towards the moon's surface at a gentle 2 miles per hour, confirming on a live stream that the spacecraft had entered lunar gravity a month and a half after launching atop a SpaceX rocket from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Firefly became the second private firm to score a soft moon landing. Houston-based Intuitive Machines Odysseus lander made a lopsided soft touchdown last year.
Firefly Aerospace just became the first
5 nations have made successful soft landings in the past: the then Soviet Union, the US, China, India, and Japan.
The lander is performing that 9-minute powered descent.
You're watching DD India Live, still to come on the show. We bring you the success story of India's wildlife conservation efforts on the other side. And holy month of Ramzan begins in India and other parts of Asia after sighting of the crescent moon on Saturday.
In a world increasingly shaped by climate challenges, we are all exposed to new risks. But efforts are being made to tackle these challenges.
Once you have per square kilometer accurate data, they will start mobilizing actions, and the top-down folks, will have an ability to focus on specific parts where the problem is.
By using locally grown food, we can not only reduce our impact on the climate, but also prevent lifestyle diseases.
I think this is extremely important to have this kind of community level engagement. And some of these awareness programs I am aware of are also providing some individual level strategy to really adapt to the situations.
We have community radio stations. We also have door-to-door information drives.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Tanvi Taneja. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is on a visit to the western state of Gujarat, today paid obeisance to Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel's idol inside Sri Somnath Jyotirling Mandir premises. Prime Minister Modi also offered prayers at the Sri Somnath Jyotirling Mandir. The Somnath temple, located in Prabhas Patan near Veraval in Saurashtra on the western coast of Gujarat, is believed to be the first among the 12 Jyotirlingas of Lord Shiva. It is an important pilgrimage and tourist spot of Gujarat. The site of Somnath has been a pilgrimage site from ancient times on account of being a Triveni Sangam, the confluence of 3 rivers, Kapila, Hiran and Saraswati rivers. India, under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, leads in wildlife conservation. From 3,682 tigers to 675 Asiatic lions, India's efforts are setting global benchmarks. Community participation and key projects like Project Snow Leopard ensure a thriving ecosystem. DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya reports.
India, with just 2.4% of the world's land, is a biodiversity powerhouse, contributing 8% of global biodiversity. Rooted in a culture of conservation, India under Prime Minister Modi's leadership has achieved a remarkable milestone in protecting its wildlife. Home to world's largest tiger population, India now boasts of 3,682 tigers with 57 tiger reserves safeguarding their future. The Asiatic elephant thrives here too, with around 30,000 elephants roaming its forests. India also sheltered the largest population of one-horned rhinoceros, numbering 3,000, and is the only country where the Asiatic lions, whose number have risen from 525 in 2015 to 675 in 2020. The Indian leopard's population has also seen a 75% surge, reaching 13,874 in 2022. Even the reintroduction of cheetahs has been hailed as a conservation triumph. Projects like Crocodile Conservation Initiative have rescued its population of gharials and other crocodiles. Meanwhile, Project Snow Leopard protects the elusive snow leopards with an estimation of 718 in the wild. Local communities are unsung heroes of India's conservation stories. Their effort in shielding endangered species, monitoring wildlife have been pivotal to their success. India's wildlife conservation journey is a testament to the power of culture, community, and commitment. Together, they ensure that these majestic creatures continue to thrive for generations to come. With camera person Shiv Suman, this is Tapas Bhattacharya for DD India from Gir National Forest in Gujarat.
3rd March would be celebrated as World Wildlife Day 2025. It focuses on wildlife conservation, finance, investing in people and planet. Prime Minister Modi's visit to Sasangir, Gujarat highlights India's dedication to Asiatic lion conservation with the launch of a state-of-the-art veterinary hospital marking a key advancement in protecting our wildlife.
On March 3rd, the world will celebrate World Wildlife Day 2025, highlighting wildlife conservation finance, investing in people and planet. Marking this occasion, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Sasangir, Gujarat, reaffirming India's commitment to Asiatic lion conservation with cutting-edge initiatives. One of the most significant aspects is the establishment of a state-of-the-art veterinary hospital in Sasan. This facility will serve as the National Wildlife Disease Diagnostic Center, playing a crucial role in monitoring and preventing diseases that have previously posed a serious threat to lions' population. As a part of the initiative, PM Modi will also chair a high-level meeting of the National Board for Wildlife. The members include representatives from various states, NGOs, and wildlife experts. This meeting will focus on strengthening policies for wildlife conservation. Following this, Prime Minister will personally engage with the forest staff at Sasan, recognizing their efforts and discussing ways to enhance on-ground conservation strategies. On World Wildlife Day, India is once again proving that conservation is not just about protecting species, it's about protecting the balance of nature for generations to come.
India is taking a significant step towards the long-term conservation of Asiatic lions. Gujarat's Gir is said to become a model for conservation efforts worldwide. On the World Wildlife Day, these projects reaffirms India's dedication to preserving its rich biodiversity for the future generation. With camera person Naveen, this is Tapas Bhattacharya for DD India from the Gir National Park in Gujarat.
In India's hilly state of Uttarakhand's Chamoli district, rescue teams completed the rescue operation by recovering the remains of 4 more labourers on Sunday. This follows an avalanche that struck a Border Roads Organisation or the BRO camp in Mana village on Friday. The total death toll stands at 8. The army conducted the search operations using ground-penetrating radar along with sniper dogs, thermal imaging cameras and helicopters. As per the Indian Army, the avalanche hit the BRO camp between Mana and Badrinath, burying 54 workers inside 8 containers and a shed. The holy month of Ramadan commenced today in India and other parts of Asia after the sighting of the crescent moon on Saturday. Ramadan is a sacred month in Islam that falls in the 9th month of Hijri or Islamic lunar calendar. Fasting in Ramadan, the 9th and the holiest month in the Islamic calendar, is one of the 5 pillars of Islam, and this is the time of the year when religious fervour is rekindled throughout the Muslim world. The holy month, during which hundreds of millions of faithfuls around the world observe a daytime fast, traditionally begins with the sighting of the crescent moon. In Saudi Arabia and most Sunni-ruled Middle Eastern states, Ramadan had begun on Saturday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi extended greetings on the occasion of the start of the holy month of Ramzan. Prime Minister Modi wrote on social media platform X that as the blessed month of Ramzan begins, may it bring peace and harmony in our society. This sacred month epitomizes reflection, gratitude and devotion, also reminding us of the values of compassion, kindness and service. Ramzan Mubarak, wrote the Prime Minister on X. And on to sports news now. India put up 249 runs for the loss of 9 wickets against New Zealand at the Champions Trophy in Dubai on Sunday. Shreyas Iyer led India's fight back with a gritty half-century after early jolts. He added 98 runs with Akshar Patel to bring the innings back on track after Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill and Virat Kohli were dismissed cheaply. Iyer top scored with 79 runs, while Patel was out for 42 runs. In the latter part of the innings, Hardik Pandya played a cameo of 45 runs to help India reach a competitive total. Earlier, India were reduced to 30 runs for the loss of 3 wickets after New Zealand skipper Mitchell Santner won the toss and opted to field. Matt Henry was the pick of the bowlers with 5 scalps. Australia and South Africa will be in Dubai over the next 2 days as they await to find their semi-final venues in the Champions Trophy. Though India and New Zealand have qualified with the Black Caps set to play its semi-final in Lahore on Wednesday, the identity of the team that will play in Dubai depends on the outcome of the match between India and New Zealand. With South Africa topping Group B, the team will stay in Dubai if Rohit's men lose their final match and finish second in Group A. If India continues its winning run today, it will meet Australia in Tuesday's semi-final. On Monday, one team will fly back to Pakistan to play in the second semi-final against the Kiwis. And some football action now. Manchester City survived an FA Cup scare as they beat Plymouth Argyle 3-1 to reach the quarterfinals. Teenager Nico Reilly saved City's blushes with 2 goals after M. Taloverov had sent thousands of fans into delirium by heading Plymouth into the lead. O'Reilly equalised with a header in the stoppage time of the first half. Again, he was in the right place to head Phil Foden's corner into the net. De Bruyne then made absolutely sure of City's progress in the last 8 with a tap-in. Atletico Madrid beat Athletic Club 1-0 and moved top of La Liga. Julian Alvarez scored his 10th league goal of the season. The former Manchester City forward ran onto a superb defence splitting ball by Marcos Llorente before calmly slotting in to break the deadlock in the 66th minute. Athletic Club came close to an equaliser when Benet Prados headed against the post. Diego Simon's Atletico knew a win over Bilbao side would see them jump above both Barcelona and Real Madrid. Earlier, Real Madrid lost to Real Betis earlier on Saturday. However, their 2-point lead could be short-lived with the second-placed Barcelona playing their game in hand against Real Sociedad on Sunday. And that's all for this edition of DD India Live. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and the world on our DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja. From all of us here in New Delhi, thank you for watching. Namaskar.